The cheap plastic clock made a hollow thunk when it hit the dining room table. $24.99 according to the price tag still stuck to the bottom that Mum forgot to peel off. "We thought you could use some help with time management," Mum said, her smile sharp enough to cut glass. "You know, priorities. My name is Cameron, and I'm 28 years old. I make 6 figures in finance, work 70-hour weeks, and apparently my family thinks I need a discount store clock to get my life together." "Gee, thanks," I said, turning the thing over in my hands. The second hand already looked wonky. "It's exactly what I needed." Dad cleared his throat from his spot at the head of the table. "We're just concerned about your work-life balance, sweetheart. You missed Sean's graduation party, your cousin's wedding." "I was closing a merger that weekend," I interrupted. "You know, work, that thing that pays for—" "Speaking of celebrations," Mum cut me off, practically vibrating with excitement as she turned to my younger brother. "Sean, honey, we have something special for you too." She produced a set of BMW keys with the kind of flourish usually reserved for magic shows. The metal caught the light from the chandelier, and I swear I heard angels singing. Or maybe that was just the sound of my soul leaving my body. "No way," Sean breathed, jumping up from his chair. At 24, he still had that golden boy energy that made everyone want to ruffle his hair and slip him $20 bills. "Are you serious right now?" "Dead serious," Dad beamed. "You've worked so hard at your fellowship. We're so proud of everything you've accomplished." I gripped my plastic clock tighter. The fellowship that I knew for a fact he'd been struggling with. The fellowship that required a certain lifestyle to maintain appearances. The fellowship that... "Cameron helped pick it out," Mum lied smoothly. "She insisted on the premium package." Every head turned to me. Sean's eyes met mine across the table, and I saw the warning there, clear as day. "Don't you dare." "I just want the best for my little brother," I managed, my voice only slightly strangled. Sean grinned and came around the table to hug me. To everyone else it looked sweet, but when he leaned in close, his voice was barely a whisper. "Keep our secret, Cam. You know what happens if you don't." I patted his back like a good sister should. Of course, wouldn't dream of it. The rest of dinner was a blur of congratulations and plans for Sean to show off his new car to his girlfriend Isla. Mum kept steering the conversation back to his achievements while I sat there, turning my joke gift over and over in my hands. "You know what your problem is, Cameron," Mum said as we cleared the dishes. "You're so focused on money that you forget what really matters: family, relationships, being present." I almost laughed. If she only knew how present I'd been. How every month for the past 2 years I'd been very present when transferring money to cover Sean's rent, very present when paying his credit card bills, very present when his car payments came due. "You're right," I said instead. "I should definitely work on my priorities." "That's the spirit," Dad said, patting my shoulder. "And hey, maybe that clock will help remind you to call more often." After they all went outside to admire Sean's new BMW, I stood alone in the kitchen, staring at my gift. The second hand was definitely broken. It kept skipping every few seconds, like it couldn't quite keep up with time. Kind of like me, I guess. My phone buzzed with a text from my best friend Avery. "How did the family dinner go? Please tell me they didn't lecture you about finding a husband again." I took a picture of the clock and sent it to her with the caption, "They gave me this. Sean got a BMW." Her response was immediate. "Are you fucking kidding me?" I was still staring at her text when Sean appeared in the doorway, keys dangling from his finger. "Thanks again, sis," he said casually, "for understanding how important it is to keep family business in the family." He walked away whistling, and I found myself wondering something I'd never really considered before. What would happen if I just stopped understanding? The next morning I met Avery at our usual coffee shop. She took one look at me and ordered a double shot. "You look like you got hit by a truck," she said, sliding into the booth across from me. "A BMW, actually." I pulled out the clock and set it on the table between us. Behold my family's faith in my time management skills. Avery picked it up and shook it. The second hand stuttered. This thing is already broken. Story of my life. Okay, back up, she said, leaning forward. Start from the beginning. How did we get from family dinner to my brother drives a luxury car while I get clearance rack gifts? So I told her everything. How it started 2 years ago when Sean called me crying about his rent. How Mum had gotten on the phone, voice thick with disappointment. Cameron, honey, you know how hard it is for young people these days. Sean's fellowship barely covers his expenses, and he needs to maintain a certain image for networking. You understand, don't you? You've always been so responsible. And you just agreed? Avery asked. It was supposed to be temporary, just until he got on his feet. I stirred my coffee harder than necessary. But then it was his credit cards, then his car payments, then his apartment deposit when he moved in with Illa. How much are we talking here? $3,000 a month, sometimes more. Avery nearly choked on her latte. Cameron, that's more than most people's rent. I know. For 2 years? I know. That's like $70,000. I can do math, Avery. She sat back in her chair, staring at me. And your parents have no idea? Mum knows some of it. She's the one who asks. Cameron, Sean's struggling with his car payment this month. You know how important transportation is for his career. It's always framed like I'm helping the family. But they bought him a BMW. Apparently my help doesn't count as help if it's secret. Avery pulled out her phone and started scrolling. I need to show you something. Sean posted this yesterday. She turned the screen toward me. It was an Instagram story from Sean's account. A picture of an expensive dinner with Ela, champagne glasses raised. The caption read, "Celebrating another successful month. Jar blessed nor hard work pays off, Jar fellowship." There's more, Avery said grimly, swiping to the next story. This one was a screenshot of a group chat. I could see Sean's name at the top, and below it, a message that made my stomach drop. My sister thinks she's so important because she has some finance job, but she'll never be as important as us. Mum and Dad know who really matters in this family. The coffee turned bitter in my mouth. When did he post this? Last week, right after your mum called you about his car payment. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. He was laughing at me. While I was transferring money to his account, he was laughing at me. Cameron. I missed my cousin's wedding because I was working overtime to cover his expenses. I haven't taken a vacation in 2 years because every spare dollar goes to maintaining his lifestyle. My phone rang. Mum's contact photo filled the screen. A family portrait from last Christmas where everyone looked perfect except me, caught mid-blink. Don't answer it, Avery said. I answered it. Cameron, sweetheart, I hope you're having a good morning. I wanted to thank you again for being so understanding about the car situation. Understanding? Well, you know how important it is for Sean to have reliable transportation. His fellowship requires so much networking, and first impressions matter. I'm sure you remember what it was like when you were starting out. Actually, Mum, when I was starting out, I took the bus. Oh, honey, that's different. You've always been so independent. Sean needs a little more support, that's all. Speaking of which, he mentioned his rent might be going up next month. I told him not to worry, that his big sister would help figure something out. The line went quiet except for the sound of my heart pounding in my ears. Cameron, are you there? I'm here. Good. Oh, and I hope you're using that lovely clock we gave you. Time management is so important for success. She hung up before I could respond. Avery was watching me with the expression of someone witnessing a car accident in slow motion. What did she say? I set my phone down carefully. She wants me to cover Sean's rent increase. And she hopes I'm using my lovely clock. My phone buzzed with a text from Mum. Hope you're using your new clock, dear. Time to prioritise what really matters. I showed Avery the message. She read it twice, then looked up at me with fire in her eyes. Cameron, you know what you have to do, right? For the first time in 2 years, I actually did. I started with the bank transfers. 3 clicks and Sean's automatic payments were cancelled. 2 years of monthly transfers gone. "Are you sure about this?" Avery asked, watching over my shoulder as I navigated the banking app. "Nope, but I'm doing it anyway." Next was the credit card I'd added him to as an authorised user. The customer service rep was annoyingly cheerful. "I'd like to remove an authorised user from my account," I said. "Of course. Can I get the name?" "Sean Lee." "And the reason for removal?" I looked at Avery, who was grinning. He's about to learn what priorities really mean. "I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't catch that." "Account security," I said instead. The hardest call was to BMW Financial. I'd co-signed for the lease because Sean's credit wasn't quite good enough on its own. Another family favour that nobody acknowledged. "I need to remove myself as a co-signer," I told the representative. "I'm afraid that's not possible mid-lease, ma'am. However, the primary lessee can assume full responsibility if they qualify independently. And if they don't qualify, then the lease would need to be terminated." "Perfect." I hung up and immediately called back, this time pretending to be concerned about missed payments. "I'm calling about the BMW lease for Sean Lee. I'm the co-signer, and I want to make sure the payments are up to date." "Let me check. Yes, everything looks current. Your next payment is due on the 15th. "Great. And just to confirm, if payments stop, what's the process?" "After 30 days late, we begin repossession proceedings." I marked the 15th on my calendar. 2 weeks. My phone rang before I could put it down. Sean's name flashed on the screen. "That was fast," Avery muttered. "Cameron, what the hell?" Sean's voice was tight with panic. "My bank just sent me an alert that my automatic transfer was cancelled." "Oh, that! Yeah, I had to make some budget adjustments." "Budget adjustments? Cameron, I have bills due tomorrow." "I'm sure you'll figure something out. You're so successful after all." "Don't play games with me. You know I need that money." "Actually, I don't know that. According to your Instagram, you're doing great. Celebrating successful months, hard work paying off. Sounds like you've got it handled." Silence. Then, "You saw that?" Avery showed me. Interesting perspective on family importance. "Cameron, that wasn't, look, I was just venting to friends. You know how it is." "No, I really don't. Explain it to me. I was frustrated, okay? Sometimes it feels like Mum and Dad expect me to be perfect, and you get to just exist. Do your job, make your money, no pressure." I started laughing. Actually laughing. "No pressure? Sean, I work 70-hour weeks to pay for your lifestyle." "That's not... I haven't taken a vacation in 2 years because every spare dollar goes to you. I missed family events because I was working overtime to cover your expenses, and you think I have no pressure?" "Cameron, please, I'll talk to Mum about the car thing. I'll make sure she knows you helped." "It's too late for that." "What do you mean?" I pulled up my phone's recording app. Avery had suggested it after the Instagram incident. "I mean, I'm done being the family ATM." "You can't just cut me off. I have commitments. Isla's expecting..." "Isla's expecting what? That you'll keep pretending to be successful while your sister pays for everything?" "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Sean? Explain to me how taking $70,000 from me over 2 years isn't exactly like that." 70. Cameron, I didn't realise it was that much." "You didn't want to realise it. There's a difference." His voice changed, got sharper. "Fine. You want to play hardball? I'll tell Mum and Dad that you've been controlling my finances, that you offered to help and then held it over my head." "Go ahead." "I'm serious. I'll tell them you're jealous of my success and you're trying to sabotage me." "Please do. I'd love to hear you explain my jealousy of success I've been funding." "Cameron..." "I'm recording this conversation, by the way." Dead silence. "You're what?" "Recording, you know, for my records, time management and all that." "You can't. That's illegal." "Actually, it's not. Single-party consent state. I can record any conversation I'm part of." "Cameron, please, let's talk about this like adults." "We are talking. You're threatening to lie to our parents about me, and I'm documenting it." "I wasn't threatening. I'll tell Mum and Dad you've been controlling my finances. That's a direct quote. Should I play it back? Another long silence. When he spoke again, his voice was different, smaller. What do you want? I want you to figure out your own life, starting now. And if I can't, then I guess you'll learn what real priorities look like. I hung up and looked at Avery. How did that sound? Like someone who just found their spine. My phone buzzed with a notification, a bank alert showing an attempted transfer from my account to Sean's, declined due to insufficient authorization. He was already trying to access the emergency fund Mum had convinced me to set up, just in case. I screenshotted the notification and sent it to Avery. Oh, he's desperate, she said, looking at her phone. He's about to get more desperate. My phone rang again. This time it was Mom. Cameron Elizabeth, what is this nonsense Sean is telling me about you cutting off his support? I put Mum on speaker so Avery could hear. Hi, Mum, what support? Don't play dumb with me. The money you've been helping him with. He's in tears, saying you've abandoned him right when he needs family most. Interesting. When did helping Sean become my responsibility? Since you're his sister and you have the means to help, family takes care of family, Cameron. I thought we raised you better than this. Avery was making throat-slitting gestures, but I kept going. So when you and Dad bought him a BMW yesterday, was that family taking care of family? That's completely different. That was a graduation gift. A $40,000 graduation gift while I got a broken clock. Cameron, your attitude is exactly why we're having this conversation. Everything is always about money with you. Sean needs support right now, and instead of being there for him, you're being petty and jealous. Jealous of what exactly? Of his success, his fellowship, the fact that he's building something meaningful while you're just making money. I looked at Avery, who was now openly recording with her own phone. Mum, do you know how much I've given Sean over the past 2 years? I don't need to know the details. The point is, you helped because you wanted to help. Now you're using it as a weapon. $70,000. Silence. What? $70,000. That's how much I've transferred to Sean in 2 years. His rent, his credit cards, his car payments, his lifestyle expenses. That can't be right. I can send you the bank statements if you'd like. More silence. Then, well, that just proves how generous you've been, which makes this tantrum even more disappointing. Tantrum? Yes, tantrum. You're upset about a silly clock, and now you're taking it out on your brother. Do you have any idea what this could do to his career, his reputation? His reputation built on money I provided. Cameron, I'm going to say this once. You will fix this situation with Sean immediately. We're having a celebration party for him this weekend, and I will not have family drama ruining it. A celebration party? For his fellowship achievements, everyone's coming. Your father's colleagues, the neighbours, even some people from Sean's programme. I've already sent the invitations. My stomach dropped. Mum, what exactly are you celebrating? His success, obviously, his dedication, the fact that he's managed to excel in such a competitive programme while maintaining his relationship with Isla and his social commitments. His social commitments that I funded. Cameron, enough. You're being deliberately difficult. I expect you to be there Saturday night, and I expect you to be supportive of your brother. Wear something nice, and please try to be pleasant. This is important for our family's reputation. She hung up before I could respond. Avery stared at me. She's throwing him a party? Apparently. A party to celebrate achievements you paid for? That's the gist of it. My phone buzzed with a text from my cousin Krista. Heard about Sean's party. Mum got an invitation. Are you okay with this circus? I called her immediately. Cameron, thank God, Krista said when she picked up. I was hoping you'd call. What the hell is going on? You got an invitation? Oh, honey, everyone got an invitation. Aunt Annalise is telling people Sean's getting some kind of fellowship award. She's been bragging about his car, his apartment, his success story. Krista, I need to tell you something. I explained everything: the money, the lies, the broken clock, Mum's demands. Jesus Christ, Cameron, you've been bankrolling his entire life. Pretty much. And now they're throwing him a party to celebrate, while lecturing me about priorities. Krista was quiet for a long moment. You know what this is, right? This is exactly what happened with me and Mom when I was your age. What do you mean? The golden child treatment. I was the responsible one, the one who helped out, the one who made sacrifices. My brother was the star. When I finally stood up for myself, the whole family turned on me. What did you do? I moved across the country and went low contact for 5 years. Best decision I ever made. I can't do that. You might have to. Cameron, they're not going to suddenly see your worth. They're going to double down on making you the villain. So what do I do about the party? You have 2 choices. Skip it and let them paint you as the jealous sister who couldn't handle Sean's success, or show up and watch them celebrate achievements you made possible. Those are both terrible options. There's a third option, which is show up and tell the truth. My phone buzzed with another text, this one from Mom. Also, your boss Aaliyah will be there Saturday. I thought it would be nice for her to see what a successful family looks like. Don't embarrass us. I showed the text to Avery, who had gone completely pale. Your boss is going to be there? She asked. Apparently. The boss who doesn't know you've been working overtime to fund your brother's lifestyle? That would be the one. Krista's voice came through the phone. Cameron, what just happened? My boss is coming to the party. Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay, new plan, Krista said. I'm driving down for this party. Someone needs to have your back. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Because what they're about to do to you is unforgivable, and you're going to need witnesses. After I hung up, Avery looked at me seriously. Are you really going to go through with this? I don't think I have a choice anymore. You always have a choice. Do I? Because it feels like I'm trapped between being the family doormat or being the family villain. Then maybe it's time to be the family truth-teller instead. Saturday night arrived like a storm I could see coming but couldn't avoid. I stood in my parents' driveway, watching cars fill up the street. Expensive cars, the kind of cars that belong to people who would judge everything about tonight. You look like you're about to throw up, Avery said, adjusting her dress. I might. Krista pulled up in her rental car and got out wearing the kind of smile that meant trouble. Ready for this shit show? As ready as someone can be for their own execution. We walked in together. The house was packed with people I didn't recognise. Dad's colleagues, neighbours, and what looked like half of Sean's fellowship programme. Everyone was dressed to impress, holding wine glasses and making the kind of small talk that sounded important. Mum spotted me immediately and rushed over. Cameron, there you are. You look adequate. Come, I want you to meet some people. She dragged me toward a group near the fireplace. Everyone, this is Cameron, Sean's older sister. She works in finance. Oh, how nice, said a woman with perfectly styled hair. Sean was just telling us about his fellowship. Such an impressive young man. Very impressive, I agreed. And that car, another woman gushed. A BMW at his age. He must be doing incredibly well. He certainly is, Mom beamed. We're so proud of how he's managed to excel while maintaining such high standards. It's not easy in today's economy. I caught Avery's eye across the room. She was standing near the kitchen, phone ready. Cameron. Sean appeared at my elbow, all smiles and charm. He was wearing a new suit I'd never seen before. I'm so glad you came. Wouldn't miss it. I want you to meet Isla. He pulled his girlfriend over. She was wearing a dress that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Cameron, I've heard so much about you, Isla said, though her eyes were already scanning the room for more interesting people. Sean tells me you're really good with money. I try to be. That's so smart. I'm terrible with budgets and all that boring stuff. Thank God Sean handles everything. She laughed and touched his arm. He's so responsible. Did you see his car? He surprised me with it last week. Said he'd been saving up. Saving up, I repeated. He He's always talking about his investment strategies and his fellowship stipend. I don't understand any of it, but it's so sexy when he talks about financial planning. Sean's smile was getting tighter. Isla, why don't you go get us some drinks? Sure, baby. She kissed his cheek and bounced away. Investment strategies? I asked quietly. Cameron, please, not here. Financial planning? I can explain. Sean? A tall man in an expensive suit approached us. There's the man of the hour. I was just telling your parents about the fellowship program. Quite competitive. Dr. Martinez, Sean said, shaking his hand. Thank you for coming. Wouldn't miss it. Your mother mentioned you've been excelling despite some financial challenges. That's exactly the kind of determination we look for. My eyebrows shot up. Financial challenges? Oh yes, Dr. Martinez continued. Sean was telling us how he's managed to maintain his professional image while living on a fellowship stipend. Very impressive budgeting skills. Budgeting skills, I said slowly. The car alone must have been a stretch on a fellowship salary, Dr. Martinez laughed. But smart thinking. Image matters in this field. It certainly does, I agreed. Sean was looking pale. Dr. Martinez, let me introduce you to some other people. Actually, I said, I'd love to hear more about Sean's budgeting strategies. As someone in finance, I'm always interested in how people manage their money. Cameron, Sean warned. Oh, you should ask him about his investment portfolio, Isla called out, returning with drinks. He's always getting these big returns. Last month alone, he made enough to cover his rent and car payment. The room seemed to tilt. Big returns? Isla, Sean said sharply. What? I'm bragging about my boyfriend. He's so good with money. She turned to Dr. Martinez. He never has to worry about bills or anything. It's like he has this magic touch. Magic touch, I repeated. That's when I heard it. A car door slamming outside, followed by heavy footsteps on the front walk. Through the window I could see a tow truck parked behind Sean's BMW. Excuse me, a deep voice called from the front door. I'm looking for Sean Lee. The party noise died down as everyone turned toward the entrance. A man in coveralls stood in the doorway, holding a clipboard and looking around the room full of fancy-dressed people. I'm Drew Hughes with Metro Recovery Services. I'm here about a 2024 BMW. Mum rushed toward him. I'm sorry, there must be some mistake. No mistake, ma'am. Lease payment stopped 3 weeks ago. I'm here to recover the vehicle. The room went completely silent. Every single person was staring at either Drew or Sean, who had gone white as a sheet. That's impossible, Dad said, stepping forward. The car was just purchased. Leased, sir, and the payment stopped on the 15th. We sent multiple notices to the primary lessee. Drew looked at his clipboard. Sean Lee? There has to be some error, Mum said desperately. Sean, tell him there's been an error. But Sean wasn't saying anything. He was just standing there, frozen, while his entire world crumbled in front of a room full of witnesses. The payments were automatic, Isla said, confused. Sean said they were automatic. Drew looked around the room, clearly uncomfortable with the audience. Ma'am, the automatic payments were cancelled by the co-signer 3 weeks ago. That's when the account went into default. Every eye in the room turned to me. Co-signer, Mum whispered. I smiled and raised my wine glass. Surprise! The silence stretched for what felt like hours, but was probably only seconds. Then everyone started talking at once. Cameron, what is he talking about? Mum's voice cut through the chaos. I co-signed for Sean's lease, I said calmly, and I stopped making the payments. You stopped? Dad started. Wait, you were making the payments? Isla interrupted, looking between Sean and me. I thought you said... Isla, not now. Sean finally found his voice. Sir, Drew said to Sean, I need the keys to the vehicle. We can do this easy, or we can do this hard, but the car's coming with me either way. This is ridiculous, Mum snapped. Cameron, fix this right now. Fix what? Whatever tantrum you're throwing, pay the man and send him away. The room was watching us like a tennis match. Dr. Martinez looked particularly fascinated. I could see my boss Aaliyah near the back, taking everything in with sharp eyes. "I'm not throwing a tantrum, Mum. I'm just not paying for Sean's car anymore." "Not paying anymore?" one of the neighbours whispered to another. "She was paying for it." "Cameron," Sean said desperately, "we can talk about this later, privately. Actually, I think we should talk about it now, in front of everyone." I turned to address the room. "Since you're all here to celebrate Sean's success, you should know how he achieved it." "Cameron, don't," Sean pleaded. "Don't what? Don't tell them about the $70,000 I've given you over the past 2 years. Don't mention that I've been paying your rent, your credit cards, your car payments." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Isla's wineglass slipped from her hand and shattered on the hardwood floor. "70,000, Dr. Martinez said quietly. "Give or take," I said. "I have bank statements if anyone wants to see the exact figure." "Cameron Elizabeth, that is enough." Mom's face was bright red. "You are embarrassing this family." "I'm embarrassing the family?" I laughed, and it came out sharper than I intended. "Mum, you threw a party to celebrate achievements I funded. You invited my boss to show off your successful son, whose success I've been bankrolling for 2 years." That's not how it is," Mum stammered. "Then how is it? Explain to everyone how Sean managed to afford a BMW and a luxury apartment on a fellowship stipend." "He's been very careful with his money," Dad said weakly. "Careful with my money, you mean?" "Wait," Isla said, her voice getting higher. "Sean, is this true? Has your sister been paying for everything?" Sean looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. "It's complicated, Isla." "Complicated how? Either she's been paying your bills or she hasn't." "She has," Krista said from across the room. "And your parents have been guilt-tripping her into it while treating her like garbage." "Krista, stay out of this," Mum warned. "No, I won't stay out of it. I watched you do the same thing to me for years. Cameron's been supporting your golden boy while you lecture her about priorities and give her joke gifts." "What joke gifts?" Dr. Martinez asked. I pulled out my phone and showed him the picture I'd taken of the clock. "They gave me this for Christmas, a $25 broken clock to help me manage my time better. Sean got the BMW. The room erupted in murmurs. I could hear fragments of conversations. $70,000. Paying for everything. Broken clock. "Sir," Drew said again, "I really need those keys." "How much to make this go away?" Mum asked desperately, pulling out her checkbook. "Ma'am, the account is 3 weeks past due. That's about $1,200 plus fees." "Fine, I'll write you a check." "I'm sorry, but we can only accept payment from the account holder or the co-signer." Every eye turned back to me. "Cameron," Mum said through gritted teeth, "write the man a check." "No?" "What do you mean, no?" "I mean no. I'm not paying for Sean's car anymore. I'm not paying for his rent, his credit cards, or his lifestyle. I'm done." "You can't be serious," Sean said. "Cameron, think about what you're doing. Think about my career, my reputation." "Your reputation built on lies?" "It's not lies, it's just—" "What, Sean? It's just what?" He looked around the room at all the faces staring at him. "It's just that sometimes you need help to get started. Everyone gets help." "Everyone gets $70,000 from their sister?" "You offered to help." "I offered to help temporarily, 2 years ago, for 1 month's rent." "But you kept helping." "Because you and Mum guilt-tripped me into it." Aaliyah stepped forward from the back of the room. "Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Cameron, is this why you've been working so many overtime hours?" The room went quiet again. "Yes," I said. "To fund your brother's lifestyle?" "Yes." She nodded slowly. "That explains a lot." "Cameron," Sean said, his voice breaking, "please, don't do this to me. Not in front of everyone." "I'm not doing anything to you, Sean. I'm just not doing anything for you anymore." Drew cleared his throat. "Folks, I hate to break up the family meeting, but I've got other stops to make. Keys?" Sean looked around the room one more time, at all the people who'd come to celebrate his success, at Hila, who was staring at him like she'd never seen him before, at our parents who looked mortified. Then he reached into his pocket and handed Drew the BMW keys. Thank you, sir. Vehicle will be towed within the hour. As Drew left, Sean turned to me with something I'd never seen in his eyes before. Pure hatred. You have no idea what you've just done, he said quietly, but you're going to find out. Is that a threat, Sean? I asked, loud enough for everyone to hear. It's a promise, he said. You want to destroy my life? Fine, but I'm taking you down with me. How exactly are you going to do that? Sean's smile was ugly. Tell them about the fellowship documents, Cameron. Tell them what you helped me with. My stomach dropped. What are you talking about? Oh, come on. Don't play innocent now. You think I'm going to go down alone? Sean, Mum said nervously, what documents? But I was already pulling out my phone, opening the recording app. Say that again, Sean, about the documents. You can't record. Single-party consent state, remember? You taught me that last week. I held up the phone. Now, what were you saying about fellowship documents? Cameron helped me forge my fellowship application, Sean announced to the room. She used her finance connections to fake my references. The room exploded. Dr. Martinez stepped forward, his face dark. What did you just say? That's a lie, I said immediately. I've never touched your fellowship paperwork. Prove it, Sean challenged. Actually, I can. I scrolled through my phone to the recording from our conversation earlier in the week. Everyone might want to hear this. I hit play. Sean's voice filled the room. I'll tell Mum and Dad that you've been controlling my finances, that you offered to help and then held it over my head. I'm serious. I'll tell them you're jealous of my success and you're trying to sabotage me. Then my voice. Please do. I'd love to hear you explain my jealousy of success I've been funding. The room was dead silent as the recording continued, capturing Sean's threats and admissions. That's enough, Sean said, lunging for my phone. Krista stepped between us. Touch her and I'll break your arm. This is insane, Isla said, backing away from Sean. You've been lying to me about everything? Isla, let me explain. Explain what? That your sister has been paying for our dates, our trips, the apartment I've been living in? It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. Isla's voice cracked. I thought I was dating someone successful, someone with a future. Instead, I've been dating a fraud. I'm not a fraud. Then where did the money come from, Sean? Dr. Martinez demanded. Because if you've been falsifying fellowship documents, that's grounds for immediate dismissal and possible criminal charges. I didn't falsify anything, Sean said desperately. I needed help maintaining the lifestyle expected of someone in the program. Expected by whom? By everyone. You think I could network with important people while living in some studio apartment? You think I could make connections while driving a used car? So you had your sister fund your image? Aaliyah spoke up from the back. While she worked overtime to afford it, she offered to help. I offered to help with 1 month's rent, I said. 2 years ago. Everything after that was you and Mom manipulating me. That's not true, Mum said quickly. I never manipulated anyone. Really? Krista pulled out her own phone. Because I've been recording too. Want to hear the voicemail you left Cameron last week about Sean's rent increase? You can't. Cameron, sweetheart, I know you understand how important Sean's career is. He mentioned his rent might be going up, and I told him not to worry because his big sister would figure something out. Family helps family, and you've always been so generous. Krista looked up from her phone. Sound familiar? Mum's face went white. That's taken out of context. What context makes that okay? Aaliyah asked. You guilt-tripped your daughter into funding your son's lifestyle while giving her a broken clock for Christmas? The clock was a thoughtful gift. It was a $25 insult, I said. While Sean got a $40,000 car that I was secretly paying for. This is all getting blown out of proportion, Dad said weakly. Is it? Dr. Martinez turned to Sean. Because I'm starting to wonder about your fellowship performance. Have you been using family money to fund research projects, conference attendance, professional development? Sean's silence was answer enough. Jesus Christ, Dr. Martinez muttered. How much of your fellowship has been subsidized? It doesn't matter, Sean said desperately. I did the work. I earned my place in the program. With money from your sister, Isla said flatly. Money you lied about having. I never lied. You told me you had investment returns. You said you were good with money. I am good with money. I'm good at managing Cameron's money. The room erupted again. I could see neighbours whispering to each other, Dad's colleagues looking uncomfortable, and several people quietly heading for the door. That's it, Aaliyah said, walking over to me. Cameron, we're leaving. Now. I'm not done. Yes, you are. You've made your point. She looked around the room. And frankly, you've shown more backbone in the last hour than most people show in a lifetime. Cameron, Mum called as I headed for the door. This isn't over. You can't just destroy your brother's life and walk away. I turned back to face her. I didn't destroy his life, Mum. I just stopped funding it. Same thing, Sean snarled. No, I said. It's really not. As we reached the door, I heard Krista's voice behind us. Oh, and Aunt Annalise, you might want to check your bank statements, because I'm pretty sure Cameron wasn't the only one being manipulated. I didn't turn around to see Mum's reaction, but I heard the sharp intake of breath that told me Krista had just dropped another bomb. Outside, I could hear sirens in the distance getting closer. Did someone call the police? Avery asked. Probably a neighbour, Aaliyah said. Fraud investigations tend to get loud. I looked back at the house where the party had turned into a disaster zone and realised I felt something I hadn't felt in 2 years. Relief. We ended up at Avery's apartment, sitting on her couch with takeout containers and wine glasses. My phone had been buzzing non-stop for 3 hours. 47 missed calls, I said, scrolling through the notifications. 12 from Mum, 15 from Sean, 8 from Dad, and the rest from numbers I don't recognise. Block them all, Aaliyah said, taking a sip of wine. Trust me, nothing good comes from answering those calls right now. I should probably listen to at least one. No, Krista said firmly. Let them sit with what happened. Let them figure out their own mess for once. My phone rang again. This time it was a number I didn't recognise. Don't answer it, Avery warned. I answered it anyway. Hello? Is this Cameron Lee? This is Detective Sarah Chen with the Financial Crimes Unit. I need to speak with you about some allegations that were made tonight. My stomach dropped. Allegations? Your brother claims you've been involved in falsifying fellowship documents. We need to get your statement. I have recordings, I said immediately, of him threatening to lie about my involvement, and witnesses. Good. Can you come in tomorrow morning, say 10 a.m? I'll be there. After I hung up, everyone was staring at me. Financial crimes? Aaliyah asked. Sean's trying to drag me down with him. With what evidence? Krista demanded. You didn't do anything wrong. I know that, you know that, but he's desperate. My phone buzzed with a text from Mum. Cameron, call me immediately. Sean is in serious trouble and you need to fix this right now. I showed the text to the group. You need to fix this, Avery read aloud. Even now it's your responsibility to clean up his mess. Not anymore, I said, and blocked Mum's number. Another text, this time from Dad. Your mother is having chest pains. She's at the hospital. This is what your selfishness has caused. Oh, that's low, Krista said, reading over my shoulder. Classic manipulation. Bet you anything she's fine. What if she's not? Then that's on her for creating this situation, not on you for refusing to enable it anymore. I blocked Dad's number too. The next text was from Sean. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed everything, but I still have one card left to play. What card? Avery asked. Before I could answer, my phone rang. Unknown number again. Cameron Lee? Yes. This is Janet Morrison from Channel 7 News. We received a tip about a financial fraud case involving a fellowship program. Would you like to comment? I hung up immediately. He called the news, I said. Of course he did, Aaliyah said. He's trying to control the narrative before the police investigation gets started. What do I do? You tell the truth. You have recordings, bank statements, witnesses. He has lies and desperation. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Isla. Cameron, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Sean just confessed everything to me. He's been lying about the fellowship too. Some of his research was plagiarized. I'm going to the police tomorrow. I showed the text to everyone. Well, Krista said, there goes his last card. I should feel good about this, I said, but I just feel empty. That's normal, Aaliyah said. You just blew up your entire family dynamic. It's going to take time to process. The question is, Avery said, what do you want to do now? I looked around the room at these 3 women who had supported me through the worst night of my life. I want to get my own apartment, something that's just mine. Good start, Krista said. I want to take a vacation, a real one, somewhere expensive. Even better. And I want to throw away that stupid clock. We can do that right now, Avery said, getting up. I think I saw it in your purse. I pulled out the broken clock and held it up. The second hand was still skipping, still unable to keep proper time. You know what? I said, standing up. I don't want to throw it away. No? No, I want to keep it as a reminder. Of what? Of what happens when you let other people set your priorities. I walked over to Avery's kitchen counter and set the clock down. But I'm not going to let it tell me what time it is anymore. My phone buzzed one more time. Another unknown number, another text. This is Drew from the repo company. Found your number in the BMW paperwork. Thought you should know. Your brother tried to report the car stolen. Told police his sister stole it out of spite. Just wanted you to know in case they contact you. I started laughing. Actually laughing. What now? Aaliyah asked. Sean reported his own repossessed car as stolen and blamed me. Jesus, Krista said. He really is going down swinging. Let him swing, I said. I'm done catching him when he falls. I walked over to the window and looked out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, my family was dealing with the consequences of their choices for the first time in years. Somewhere out there, Sean was learning what it felt like when the money ran out and the lies caught up. And somewhere out there was a life I'd been too busy funding other people's dreams to build for myself. So, Avery said, joining me at the window, what's the first thing you're going to do with your freedom? I smiled and pulled out my phone, opening my banking app. For the first time in 2 years, my account balance was mine, all mine. I'm going to buy myself a really nice watch, I said, one that actually keeps time. Behind us, the broken clock kept ticking its irregular rhythm, marking moments that no longer mattered. I didn't need it anymore. I had finally learned to set my own priorities.